Right now, someone weaker than you is winning. Not because he's smarter, not because he's stronger, but because he looks certain. He walks like he belongs everywhere. He speaks without hesitation. He acts like he deserves everything, and the world believes him. Meanwhile, you wait, you overthink, you hesitate. You hope the world will recognize your talent, your intelligence, your effort. But here's the truth. The world doesn't reward the best. It rewards the bold. Machiavelli saw this centuries ago in the courts of Florence. He watched fools with certainty climb higher than geniuses with doubt. Because power doesn't belong to the smartest or the strongest. It belongs to the most certain. Confidence is not a feeling. It's not a trait. It's a weapon. And if you don't carry it, someone else will use it against you. You weren't born hesitant. You were trained that way, trained to ask for permission, trained to seek approval, trained to obey. And now that conditioning lives inside you. It's the voice that says, "Don't say that. Don't upset them. Don't take the risk." That voice isn't you. It's the inner servant. So how do you kill him? You use inversion. Every time your servant whispers, you do the opposite. When you want to shrink, you expand. When you want to explain, you stay silent. When you want to apologize, you stare. Because dangerous confidence doesn't come from waiting until you feel ready. It comes from doing what your weaker self would never dare. Machiavelli wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved, not because you must terrorize others, but because you must command yourself." Think of Winston Churchill. In the darkest days of war, his words weren't requests, they were verdicts. That is inversion. The servant seeks to please, the ruler commands. Silence as a weapon. Most men believe dominance comes from talking more, but power is not in words. Power is in silence. The man who speaks first reveals himself. The man who rushes shows his hunger, but the man who waits forces others to bend. Marcus Aurelius ruled with calm. His silence carried more weight than another man's shouting. Today, look at Elon Musk. A few calm words send markets into chaos. Not noise, not arguments, silence backed by certainty. Because silence is control. Noise is exposure. Predators don't sprint unless it's time to kill. Until then, they wait. Learn to wait. Learn to observe. Let others rush to impress you while you calculate. Words are not just sounds. They are weapons. Most men speak like they're asking for permission to exist. Their voices rise. They laugh nervously. They say, "I think, maybe, I'm not sure." That is not speech. That is self-sabotage. Machiavelli knew power is not in what you say, but in how you say it. When you speak with calm certainty, people don't analyze your words. They submit to your conviction. Confidence in speech is not volume. It's gravity. Say what you mean. Leave it there. Let silence do the rest. Confidence without control is decoration. You can walk tall, speak well, move with authority. But if anyone can still trigger you with a sentence, you are not powerful. You are exposed. This is where most men fail. They master presence. They master speech. But their emotions still belong to everyone else. A whisper of disrespect, and they react. A compliment, and they soften. A silence, and they spiral. You are not free until you master the invisible war, the one inside your own mind. Machiavelli feared not enemies, but dependency. Once people know what moves you, they know where to press. And once they know where to press, you are no longer dangerous. You are manageable. And manageable men are discarded the moment they lose usefulness. Rejection as power. Rejection feels like a wound to the weak, but to the powerful, rejection is information. It shows you who respects you, who fears you, and who sees you as disposable. Most men beg to be accepted. They explain themselves. They soften. They chase. A Machiavellian mind doesn't panic when the door shuts. It makes the room colder. You weren't rejected. They were disqualified from access to you. Rejection is not an end. It is a filter. It removes the blind, the weak, the unworthy. And once filtered, your presence becomes rare, and rare becomes royal. Psychological untouchability. Most men are so easy to control, it's laughable. Tell them they're not good enough, and they over-explain. Compliment them, they chase. Ignore them, and they beg. That is not power. That is programming. Until you break that code, you will always be someone else's tool. So you kill the need to be understood. You kill the fear of rejection. You kill the habit of reacting emotionally. Emotions are real, but irrelevant, unless weaponized. You must become unreachable, not emotionless, but unshakable. You feel everything, but you act only on what serves your outcome. This is the final transformation. Not posture, not speech, not appearance, but identity. You are no longer shaped by others. You shape the room. You shape the rules. You shape the outcome. You don't need to be understood. You don't need to be accepted. You don't need anything from anyone, because now you belong to no one. And that is what makes you untouchable. Rejection is no longer pain. It's clarity. Doubt no longer slows you. It sharpens you. Silence is no longer uncomfortable. It's your weapon. You are not here to fit in. You are here to bend the world around you. Legends don't beg. They don't explain. They move, and the world reshapes around them. This is your moment of return. The man who was once ruled now rules himself, and the man who rules himself cannot be ruled by anyone.